Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. So the talk is on information extraction tool called Text2Alm, from narratives to action language system description. It has been a master's thesis work by Craig Olson at here at University of Nebraska, Omaha. And so first, on question answering system, those are supposed to automatically answer question posed by humans in natural language. They're within computer science discipline and across information retrieval, knowledge representation, reasoning, natural language processing, and machine learning. In natural language processing, it's a branch of artificial intelligence that helps computers understand, interpret, and manipulate human language, whereas KR is a subfield where we attempt to represent information about the world in a formal, usable manner by an agent to reason about and solve complex tasks. So let's look at an example narratives that actually is in with the scope of goal narratives that you'd like to process within this project. So John traveled to the hallway, Sandra journeyed to the hallway, John got the ball there. So here all of the sentences contain what's called action verbs. And even though for humans answering where is the ball in the end of the narrative constitutes absolutely no trouble, it actually involves reasoning about several interplays of actions, and it is in a sense an outstanding challenge at the moment for question answering systems, and we'd like to tackle this challenge. So our approach is based on our work from 2017, where the methodology for designing QA systems was proposed that relied on action languages and systematized knowledge about verbs which have been studied by linguists. And for example, VerbNet lexicon does group verbs into the same syntactic semantic classes, where we can think about annotating those verbs with common sense knowledge. So Text2Alm is a system that basically automates the methodologies that has been proposed earlier. It performs common sense reasoning tasks by expressing implicit knowledge with action languages. It tests reasoning capabilities in the specific question answering domain that I'll mention at the very end of the subject. And as such serves as a proof of concept for this approach in large scale narrative-based QA systems. So here we present the architecture. So it kind of has four main pillars. In the first one, we rely on the systems that extract information present explicitly in the text, such as like what kind of action has happened, what kind of participants have been there, and what kind of interrelations they have. The next stage is where we annotate that part with common sense knowledge. For example, we add information on what does it mean to journey, what does it mean to travel, what does it mean to grab, and that we actually rely on common sense knowledge base called Text2Alm Leap. After that, we are able to invoke their action language solver and construct a model from which we can extract information on locations of objects, for instance. So as far as resources for this project, we put together Alm, which is an action language, a VerbNet that is an English verb lexicon, Text2DRS, a system for extracting entities and relations from text, Text2Alm Leap, a knowledge-based, based on action language, Alm, designed in 2006, and Calm is a solver for action language Alm. So at the end, I'll mention the Bobby project, which is QA benchmarking test coming from Facebook. And in particular, we focused on 7 tasks out of this project. And I will just illustrate here the sample narratives and the kind of questions that the would be posed. So, for example, in 3 supporting facts, there would be a sequence of sentences periodically intervened with a kind of question and then a suggested answer. And this data set has been used in 2 ways. On one hand, we used some of its narratives to sort of extend Text2Alm, incorporate new information on the verbs, and also test its validity. And then at the end of the day, we also used this project for testing. So in some sense, it's a little bit of a methodology for machine learning based methods. So here I present the results on the 7 tasks that we've been considering. And as you can see, Text2Alm performs very nicely on most of the tasks, except there were, with some tasks, Text2Alm had a consistent problem with parsing, syntactic parsing of some structure of a sentence. And there is no mechanism at the moment to recover that. So in conclusion, I trust that Text2Alm does prove to be this concept it does pave the way to utilizing this methodology in the broadest broader sense, and it did match performance on many tasks with state-of-the-art machine learning methods, but we do hypothesize that our approach is more scalable, and in order to process new kind of narratives, we don't necessarily need to retrain the system, but possibly extend common sense knowledge to unseen verbs so far. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready to undertake the questions.